And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside FD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange! 145!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Look at this!
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
If the methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Welcome to another NSF live stream of Starbase testing. You're looking at Booster 12 sitting on the Orbital Launch Mount, and as you can see, the Orbital Launch Mount vent that is used to condition the lines ahead of propellant loading into the vehicle is active, and so we have gone live for whatever kind of engine testing SpaceX has planned for today. I'm Jack Beyer for NSF. Thank you all for joining us. I see the 5x5s in chat letting us know you can hear me loud and clear. But thankfully, mercifully, you don't only have to listen to me on this stream. As always, I'm joined by our ever-competent cohort of commentators, starting off with Mr. Christopher Bergen. Oh, I don't know if I can call you Christopher.
No.
That makes me feel...
No,
I don't know
no.
if I should... Sorry, Chris. Hi, Chris.
All the Chris's in chat will know that when they're ever called Christopher, it's usually by their parents and when they're in trouble. Christopher? That's when you know you're in trouble. So yes, it's Chris. Otherwise, I get flashbacks to when I was naughty, which we won't go down the rabbit hole. Yes, hello everybody. Booster 12 testing, fun times.
Hooray! Yeah, I guess I lucked out on that one. There's no extended version of Jack, so it's just Jack whenever I'm in trouble. So, anyways, also joining us is Mr. Ryan Weber. Webby, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Hi, everyone. Me, I'm back again. You know, the whole, yeah. Anyways, hi. How you doing, Jack?
Doing good. Excited to see some booster testing action today. There's a lot of road closures flying around and a lot happening in Starbase this week, so I'm glad that we are already moving into some booster testing. We had sort of a weird one the other day. I don't know, maybe it was like a cryo or just a propellant loading test of some kind. Booster got pretty frosty, but no engine activity, right, Ryan?
Yeah, well, they did some engine chill, is what they did, but that's about it. Today though, they've taken off the Raptor covers or booties or Raptors, whatever you want to call those things. But those are off, and we kind of expected maybe a spin prime today. They're not going to do a static fire. As far as we know, we don't have an overpressure notice. SpaceX still has scaffolding on the OLM, as we can see there. And there's still a lot of equipment that is relatively close to the OLM that would make a static fire pretty dangerous if they decided to actually fire off. So, yeah. No.
What's wrong with a little FOD? There's nothing wrong with a little FOD. But yeah, that's a good point to set expectations. As far as we know, there has not been an overpressure notice. Now, that said, there have been static fires occasionally in the past without an overpressure notice. So never say never. Maybe we get a static fire today. But what we are expecting based on the information we have at hand and the things that we can observe is not a static fire today. But maybe. Just stay tuned and we'll see what happens. Also, of course, out there in viewer land, if you have any questions, feel free to @NASASpaceflight in chat and type out your question, and we'll see it pop up in some nifty software we have running in the background. Really quick, right off the bat, Alex Plant, thank you for upgrading to Capcom member. You get Discord access at Capcom and above, so it might take a little bit for the Discord connection to your YouTube to propagate, but yeah. Definitely pop into Discord and say, hey, it's an awesome, amazing segment of this community. Also, Wilbo Baggins, I know that name. What's up, Wilbo? Thanks for gifting a Red Team membership. If you got that membership, be sure to thank Wilbo. All right, a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Let's get right into it. Chris, how does this testing that we're seeing with Booster 12 now make you feel in advance of Flight 5?
Yeah, I've been quite a negative ninny on the Raptor sides relating to Elon's 4 weeks to launch ex post. You want to say tweet? I'm sure people understand what I mean by say tweet. That seemed very optimistic because we knew that Ship 30 was long pull. Ship 30 is having its TPS, its entire TPS redone. But we've been seeing pictures from your good self and Sean showing that Ship 30 is looking in quite a good state. So with Booster 12 on the pad now as well for what is a static fire test campaign, we don't know when the static fire will be. Could be today, could be later. We think it's probably not today, but it could be. You never know. You never rule things out with Starbase. Could be very careful. There's a potential that once this rolls back, gets it hot staging ring, Ship 30 goes to masses, gets its static fire because they had a Raptor vac changed out. Then they've got the vehicles ready to be stacked for integrated testing. So it's maybe not looking too unrealistic to be launching in August or even early August. So yeah, I'm getting excited. More testing, more better, because that means it's another tick on the box towards Flight 5.
Right. I think my one qualm with that, or slight disagreement, is I think hardware readiness will be ready at that point, Chris. If SpaceX is trying to catch the booster, as Elon has tweeted, on Flight 5, that does not fall under their current authorization from the FAA. So if they indeed are going to try and do that and not just fly the same flight profile again as Flight 4, who knows how long that discussion, shall we call it, with the FAA take. But yeah, we'll just have to wait for more information there. Either way, I do think you're right. Hardware readiness by early to mid-August seems completely plausible at this point, with, of course, the long pole being Ship 30's heat shield. Ryan, any thoughts there, buddy?
Well, I mean, yeah, it should be ready sometime in August. It's kind of one of those things of when. But yeah, I think the long pole is going to be Ship 30's heat shield. They, as far as we can tell, most of the tank section seems to be mostly done. They're still working on the flaps and parts of the nose cone. The other question is other than tiling, what other hardware changes are going to be? As we can tell with Booster 12, there's been some hardware changes, so we can talk about those later, unless we want to talk about right now. We'll just talk about it right now. Like in terms of just hardware changes as a whole, Booster 12 has they seem to remove some of the thermal shielding from the engine section. I don't know if that's something that they can't really test that until they fly. One of the biggest changes is they now have an FTS box right near the lateral supports on the LOX tank. The lateral
we saw that when they were rolling the booster out, right?
Yeah. I'm guessing that was partially in response to Booster 11 tipping over and possibly exploding. And when a vehicle of that size tips over and hits the water hard enough, it probably snapped the transfer tube. Well, when you snap that, you mix methane and oxygen instantly. Well, and then if you have an explosion nearby, well, it's just going to set it off. So that seems like actually a better spot for the FTS than at the Common Dome. So maybe it's in response to that or something along those lines. So that's kind of one of those things. And then the only other update we can tell is their Starlink dishes are now all 4 squares. All 4 chines now have the newer Starlink dishes on them compared to 11, which only had 2.
Right, and those rectangular dishes have like way more bandwidth or throughput, I don't know what the proper term is, than the circular ones. Like those are the high performance dishes as well.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware. But other than that, my guess is SpaceX has gone through and upgraded tons of valves, their filtering mechanisms as they had talked about in the past, avionics, software, lots of things. So this kind of leads into, like, I know a lot of people have asked the questions, is why didn't they go straight for a static fire? Why are they doing a proof test and possibly a spin prime? Well, They could have ran into issues. It's always possible. They did disconnect the booster QD and then reconnect it a couple days ago, after the booster was already put on the pad. So maybe they ran into problems. There's also the thing of maybe they planned on doing a static fire and then going through and doing some of these other proof tests, and maybe they decided just to do the proof test to begin with, because maybe there's changes that we don't know about. So
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything from plumbing changes to tank farm changes to Raptor changes. But yeah, we did get a question right off the bat from Demian asking if Booster 10 and 11 went straight to static fire, why would they do a spin prime on Booster 12? I mean, I think the perhaps unsatisfying answer is something has changed or something is different, necessitating them wanting to gather this data before going straight to a static fire. It'd be cool if we got like an Elon tweet sometime before Flight 5 saying, oh, Booster 12 is flying with upgraded Raptors or Raptor 2.5 or something like that that would, clue us in as to why maybe they did this. But barring any official information from SpaceX, we just have to speculate, unfortunately.
yeah, and with them constantly using the Raptor covers, the Raptor booties, we don't know what serial numbers this booster has. So we don't know like how much later or how much newer these Raptors are compared to, say, the ones in the last few.
Right.
So
maybe they're putting the booties on because they're just pulling Raptors out of the ocean and they don't want us to see that they're reusing the same serial number Raptors over. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Eric Frazier, thank you for the $10 super chat. They say, happy birthday, SBL. Thanks, guys, for 3 years of constant views. That's right. Starbase Live, our 24/7 live stream of Starbase, like it says in the name, is 3 years old today. Chris, can you believe that? 3 years. It feels like just yesterday we were putting cameras out in the middle of nowhere. I was walking around with a GPS thing trying to figure out what goes where. Figure out where might be a good spot to put cameras. It feels like a blink of an eye.
I remember that because the fun thing about the data on maps is it's not particularly accurate in that area, so you've really got to go to town on where things actually are so that you know where boundaries are and what have you. But it's funny for me, it seemed like birth. It's almost like it was just yesterday, and also it feels like half my lifetime. It's kind of weird how that works. But yeah, there's been a lot of hard work behind the scenes to get this done. I'm the first person who would be in a chat on a YouTube channel like this going, it's easy to put an iPhone on a stick and just press live stream on Facebook Live. It's got to be that easy. Yeah, it's really not. The lessons I've learned from watching the team in the background install what are installations. It's crazy. I mean, I remember a certain NSF person who said, why don't we just buy land? Like, what? We're all like, what? That's a crazy idea. Thank goodness that worked out as a great idea. We've invested so much into this. It's going to take a long time to sort of like pay off in the long run, but it's been worth it, I think, because the amount of things we've got to cover and the way that Starbase is expanding. Remember, there was a period of time where Elon was saying it was going to be just a test and development center and only launched a few times. Now we're getting FAA documentation talking about 28 launches or whatever it is. It's crazy that it's going to work out that Starbase is the place to be to watch this Starship development. This is the world's largest rocket ever built in history, and we're getting to watch it live. This is not easy, and it's great that we get to do this. I think it's been great to watch the evolution. And I said yesterday, I won't leak, but we've got big plans coming as well. So there's lots more to come.
Yeah, it's a good description, Chris. It simultaneously feels like yesterday and half a lifetime. And yes, I remember those discussions. I remember being part of those discussions saying, hey, what if the road closures end up meaning we can't cover launches the way we normally do with Mary and whatnot, and maybe we should look at some of this land, and here we go. I sort of wish we'd kept stats, like how many battery swaps, how many cameras have died, have we killed by leaving them out in the harsh like it'd be really cool if we had some SBL stats. Maybe someday I'll go back and see what I can collate based on Discord messages. But anyways, yay! Thank you, Eric, and happy birthday to Starbase Live, and thank you to all of our Starbase Live regulars for hanging out and watching the stream. Hey, so is the OLM vent stopped, or was that just a wind direction change?
It was just a wind direction change. It hasn't stopped yet.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it.
Based on when it started, it would most likely stop in about 15 or so minutes.
Okay, Bird. Jeez, that was a big one.
Whoa!
Was that another Harris Hawk? It looked like it. Bideford doing what Bideford does and being awesome. Thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Apocalypse Cow, that's Danger Moo, also gifting 5. Robert Risen gifting a Red Team membership. Chris Henry gifting a Red Team membership. Y'all are coming out in force today. Thank you so much. Steve Ekstrand gifting 5. Elsers gifting 5. Holy cow. Stephanie Doob gifting 1. Robert Risen gifting 1. Sponge 1310 becoming a Padrat member. Y'all are the best. Seriously, thank you. Ralph Chilton with a $10 super saying 3 years of SBL. It doesn't seem like that. Thanks for all the entertainment and company. Of course. Thanks for watching. We wouldn't be able to do it without you guys watching. And like Chris said, it'll probably be a long road before any of that really pays off. But you know what? We wouldn't have these views if we hadn't made that commitment. And even Chris, that statement from Elon you mentioned about Starbase being sort of an R&D center was after we had already put in place, if not all, the majority of our Starbase Live infrastructure. And I distinctly remember being like, oh geez, if they just pick up and move everything to Florida, that won't be great. It was a significant risk in a bet that we made on Starbase way back then, 3-4 years ago. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that Starbase has continued to be a vibrant place of Starship activity thus far.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I was going to just say it's 2 points there. First of all, is I didn't finish off what I was talking about because I was too busy fascinated by my actually accurate iPhone on a stick. That's how you do it thing. But again, the reason why we've been able to go and get all this infrastructure, these towers, these point-to-point Starlinks and fancy cameras and all the software that goes with it is because of the support we get from everyone here. We couldn't go out and get a bank loan and do this from the start. We've literally built and built and built over the amount of support we've got. It's the economics of it. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know if this might be a little bit too inside baseball, but for some of the first bits of infrastructure for Starbase Live, myself and a handful of others contributed the funds that were necessary. Like that was the thing that happened at one point. If I dig way back into my memory banks, but yeah, it was not a for sure thing that it was a good idea, and I'm glad that it's turned out to be an awesome place to hang out with fellow Starship fans over the last 3 years. Holy cow. Okay, Jason with the store purchase. They say best $199 I've spent in a long time. Keep up the great work. That must mean, yeah, it does. They got an L2 lifetime subscription. Not something we really talk about a lot, but a really valuable thing if you are looking to be a member for a long period of time. It'll work out cheaper than the standard membership program over time, right, Chris?
Right, yeah. So I'm going to do the command in chat. Right, this is what it is. So L2 is the first thing. Back in the days of the early days of the site, we had our subscription area, which was L2, which is like a massive sort of like database area with a lot of space industry folk in it as well, still to this day. That's where we put everything in it, and literally it is. We need a little promo jingle where it's basically me with a fire hose being sprayed in my face, going, "Do you like this level of information?"
No. It's you spraying the fire hose in other people's face. That's more accurate.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so, yeah. But we'd have to find other people to do that. Quite a fun advert. L2 lifetime. So basically L2, you can join L2 for 2 months, 6 months, or 1 year. And L2 started back in the day. So people who are joining every year, because they love it, said, is there a one-off option where I could just not resubscribe every single year? Because that'd be like nice for you. And also, I'd save some money in the long run. I said, yeah, let's try that. So we did L2 Lifetime, which is basically L2 Forever. And then when we started the YouTube channel and we had it grew and we had a Discord associated with it, a member Discord, which is it's not an open Discord, it's a member Discord. People at Capcom level, basically they can join it for like month on month. So we made L2 Lifetime members full-time lifetime access to Discord as well. So if you get an L2 Lifetime membership, basically I'll email you back saying, here you go, you're upgraded to L2, you've got all these massive information in the L2 forum, which is a lot, by the way. That'll keep you occupied forever.
Literally
and then
forever.
you'll also get an invite to the Discord. You're on Discord already, I can just upgrade you, but if you're not, I can give you an invite to Discord. I'll email you back saying, I'll message you back saying, okay, right, we're upgraded to L2 Lifetime. You get the Discord forever and some L2 channels in the Discord as well. So that is like everything in one go, in a one-off payment, and you'll have it forever. So that's what L2 Lifetime is.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. L2 is how I got into NSF in the first place. Before we had a YouTube channel, before we had a Discord, before we had any of that, there was L2, and it was a renowned and amazing resource. I mean, I just remember before I even knew what NSF was, looking on Reddit or whatever, and people saying, "Oh, NSF says this," or "Oh, this historical image is on NSF." It's a really amazing place. So thank you so much, Jason, for signing up to that, and we hope you enjoy the literal fire hose of stuff that you now have access to, plus, of course, Discord. And do yourself a favor, if you do decide to sign up for Lifetime L2, there's, I believe, a little box, Chris, where you're supposed to type in your...
yes.
You need to have a forum username already. So, like, the process would be, if you're not signed up for the forum, sign up for the forum, then get the Lifetime membership, and put your forum name in there. Otherwise, Chris might have to make one for you. I'm sure it can always be changed, etc. My original NSF forum name was not a good one, and eventually, after I started working with NSF, I was like, "Hey, Chris, can we change my name?"
Right.
But
Can we
yeah,
see the little? Can we see the little box there? So you can see the little box there, right? There you go.
I'm going to do my interruption here.
Yeah, don't just type
Because-
anything in there. Ryan, the thing is, don't just type anything in there. First of all, register on the forum. It's free, by the way, obviously. Register on the
Chris.
forum. Yes.
The methane subcoolers are going.
Oh, my word. Right, we'll quickly do this then. Basically, what we do is we upgrade your current forum username on the NSF forum to L2. So that's how we do it. We upgrade it that way. So register to the forum first, then type that forum username into there. The email will come through to me. So if you make a mistake or you don't have a username or you don't know what to do, just email me. In fact, I'll email you back because I'll get the notification of L2 Lifetime or L2 membership. So I will personally look after you. So don't worry if you get it wrong or you're confused by that. But to speed things along, I already have a username on the forum, and that's why I upgrade you, and I'll email you back saying, okay, there you go, you're upgraded, and I'll show you around. And basically, I personally look after you. It's not automated, so that's pretty handy as well.
Indeed. All right, well, we have a lot of really great questions coming in. Let's do some viewer questions. But right off the bat, Ryan, you said the methane subcoolers are active. That means we're going to get the liquid oxygen and liquid methane, presumably, loaded onto the booster. So what does that mean exactly, since we don't have an overpressure notice?
Well, with the way they're going right now, it looks like we're possibly into some methane loading here, which means it's most likely going to be a spin prime, is what we're looking at here. We'll have to see how much they actually load in. They don't load much for a spin prime.
Could it also be a pre-burner, or would we expect an overpressure notice for that?
I would assume an overpressure notice for a pre-burner, since you are using igniters. So
right.
This would be my assumption. But then again, it's SpaceX, so they've been SpaceXing recently, and yeah, we'll just go with that.
I like that you've turned that into a verb. All right, let's do some questions. Mylan Taylor's asking if we have a flame trench today. Yes, we are doing an episode of the flame trench today. So stay tuned for that at 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you're a member of the Discord, like we were just talking about, you get the pre-show and post-show that is exclusively for membies. So be sure to check that out, too. Andy Skibba is pretty concerned about seeing a dynamic fire today, probably because of that recent, what was it, a Chinese booster that was being static fired and the clamps let go, and yeah, none of that today. We're not even expecting a static fire today, not even really expecting thrust to be generated today, again, based on no overpressure notice. But I just have to keep saying there have been static fires where there have not been overpressure notices, so while we don't expect one today, never say never, because as Ryan said, SpaceX do be SpaceXing. Misty GT is asking, will a hot stage ring be added at the launch site, or will the booster roll back to the build site to get it? It will roll back, at least based on everything we've seen so far with previous boosters, right?
Yeah, with launch most likely still being at least a month or so away, they're not going to keep the booster out for that long. My guess is it'll roll back, go back onto the stand, they'll do final checkouts, put on the hot stage ring, and then roll it back out to the launch site once they're ready to stack 30 on. They're not going to leave it out for a month.
Yeah, per the
With them doing
booties
that.
on the Raptors, hopefully when they do remove the booster from the mount to roll it back, they won't have put the booties back on, and maybe we'll get some insight into serial numbers on those Raptors, but maybe not. Maybe they'll just put the booties back on and we'll never know. But fingers crossed. There you can see the launch site from one of our highway cameras. And yes, you're not seeing double. They did roll out a tower section last night, the second tower section for Tower B. And now it's hanging out right next to Pad B and ready to be stacked once the first module is secured to the base. So neat. SpaceX wasting no time with Tower 2.
In reference to SpaceXing, they had a closure last night, but the closure was 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. for a transport from the port of Brownsville to Sanchez, not from Sanchez to the launch site. And
Yeah, and I
they
didn't
just
see
rolled
any.
it anyways.
For example, on Wednesday, they had the port connector road blocked off around, I don't know, 8 p.m. So it was pretty obvious something was going on there. Whereas last night they did not have it blocked off. So I figured, oh, this is one of those cases where the closure won't be used or what have you. And sure enough, they used it. They just moved a section from Sanchez to the launch site instead of the port to Sanchez. Cool. Evil Genius is asking if the FTS is armed yet. No, it is not.
It's not installed yet.
They have a winky smiley face, so I imagine this is going back to the whole dynamic fire thing. A lot of questions about that. Also, a lot of questions about last night's anomaly with Falcon 9 second stage on that Starlink mission from Vandenberg. Booster 13 is asking, since the Falcon 9 second stage failed, how long do we think Falcon 9 is grounded for? A couple weeks, a month, etc. What do you think, Chris?
It's a good question because normally that can be a long time, but we know that SpaceX are very fast in investigating, finding resolutions, and then getting that approved. So I would be think of another L2 lifetime. Woo! Sorry, got excited there. I think it could be a case of weeks. I can't see it being longer. I'm very careful not to make claims because it is early days into this. I just remember that yes.
Sorry, Chris. OLM vent shut off, so we are into LOX load.
You are the new Alex with the
We'll keep our eyes open for some frost. In the meantime, Chris, please continue.
Yeah, well, I didn't have much more to say. I think the thing is to wait and see because we saw it live. We're watching it live. We saw what looked a bit dodgy with the amount of ice that was coming out, and it wasn't coming out of the vents, which is what we normally see with some ice coming out. So that looked off nominal, but we were very careful not to claim it that way because we have seen ice before, and it's very easy to make panicked observations from just watching the video. Right. And then obviously we got the information that they didn't have a full second burn, which they needed with the upper stage, and that's when they've classed this as an anomaly. So I think they'll know what went wrong. I think they've got the added advantage of having McGregor where they can so easily retest a lot of these things that they may have found, and then do the investigation, send the paperwork off to the FAA and get back into return to flight. I would speculate we're only talking about weeks, not months. I'd be interested to hear what Ryan thinks.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be that long of a grounding for Falcon 9. I don't know. I don't really think it's track record. I mean, it's got a good track record, obviously. But usually when it comes to investigations like this, they kind of try to take it out of context, if you know what I mean. They'd be like, okay, well, what actually went wrong here, and could it affect everything else? I mean, yes, it's had successes, but you don't want to cloud that as in, oh, it might not happen again because it hasn't happened before kind of thing. So, I mean, SpaceX will do their investigation along with the FAA. They'll figure out the problem, they'll fix it, they'll make sure it doesn't happen again, and they'll go forward. I mean, it's just the same as with any other anomaly or anything else along those lines. I don't think it'll take that long. Maybe a couple weeks at most.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm particularly bummed for Alex, who I believe extended his trip to the U.S. to see more launches. Poor guy. But yeah, that's a little bit off topic, but that's what's going on in regards to Falcon 9 last night. There is a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions about that in the queue, but I think we'll keep it mostly focused. No, Kevin. Kevin also wants to know if I'm bummed for him. No, I'm not bummed for Kevin. I'm never bummed for Kevin. You get what you deserve, sir. Oh, now I feel bad. That was too mean.
That was man, Jack. That was
The mask has dropped.
that was pretty full on right there, Jack.
Hey, I haven't had my coffee yet. But yeah, we'll keep it mostly to Booster 12 and what they're testing today. But there are a couple other things I did want to hit. John Ferris is asking any news on the Starlink satellites that were put into the wrong orbit. No, I have not seen anything this morning in terms of did any of the Starlinks, were they able to raise their orbit or what have you. So we'll have to wait for more word from SpaceX on that.
I think we did see some information from Jonathan McDowell, didn't we? That one was at least raising. I didn't take too much notice of the other ones, but one was definitely trying to get a raise. Did you see that tweet as well, Ryan?
Yeah, I saw that. It's with the ion engines that they have, it's going to take a bit for them to try to raise that orbit. They're not very high power thrust wise, so it's going to take a bit to see if any of them actually survive. They may not all. None of them may actually make it. So, I mean, yeah, they'll try to save as many as they can if they can even save them. So,
I mean, a partial success is better than a complete failure. So hopefully, at least some of those Starlink satellites will be able to get to a usable orbit, even if it's not the intended orbit.
It's weird that you might have a full failure with the payload and second stage not making it, but the booster and fairings make it back.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's the tweet from the Orbital Police himself, Jonathan McDowell. And yeah, you can see TLU's orbital data from Celestrak and based on SpaceX onboard Starlink ephemerides shows the Group 9-3 satellites in orbits mostly around 130 by 280 kilometers, but some only in 115 by 322. One sat is in a 190 by 235, possibly already orbit raising. So there you go. That's the situation with the Falcon 9 launch yesterday that suffered the anomaly. Fingers crossed SpaceX is able to get back at it soon. And you know what? That's why these Starlink missions are so useful. I know the primary goal of a Starlink mission is to launch Starlink satellites, but SpaceX is also able to, shall we say, try some things out that they're unable to do or don't want to do on a customer mission or definitely not a crewed mission. So the Starlink missions can run a little bit closer to the edge, and perhaps that's what was happening this time, and they just got a little bit too close. But you know what? That's how you find the limits of your hardware and your vehicle.
I think we've got a little bit of frost, or at least discoloration on the methane tank here.
Yeah, it looks like some condensation on the methane tank, right?
Yeah.
Good deal.
Not seen anything yet on the LOX tank.
Andy is asking, no earlier than guesstimate for Flight 5. Chris, I'm going to throw this one to you first.
Oh, now then. I want to be thinking around the first or second week of August. I think that is not too unrealistic. I thought you made a very good point, Jack, when I was banging on about flight readiness on the hardware side, that the paperwork, the documentation is still probably the kicker in the long run because of the way they want to change Flight 5 to a return to launch site for the booster. So that will be, again, I'm thinking hardware readiness still, but I would also assume that SpaceX is busy working on the paperwork in question, and Elon will have known that when he said 4 weeks back, when he said it, I think over a week ago now. That 4 weeks is still optimistic as far as I'm concerned, so a realistic target of potentially the first, second week of August is what I'm going with.
Yeah, seems plausible. Ryan?
Yeah, second or
is that one of the? Sorry, is that one of the chines venting? Oh yeah, we got chine venting. Neat.
Yep.
That'll be. Venting. Is that one of the CO2 chines for this fire suppression system, or is that a chine that just has COPVs in it?
That's the front chine. Those are the CO2 tanks. So they're loading. They're loading CO2 in. The back
Excellent.
ones are the COPVs.
Yeah, if y'all don't remember, the first, what was it, Booster 7 and maybe also Booster 8, I forget. They all start to blur together, but at least Booster 7 had two different sized chines, had smaller ones and bigger ones. And then after that flight, they upgraded all the chines to the same size and made the two new bigger ones contain very large CO2 tanks, which are used for fire suppression in the aft section of the booster. So neat. Let's see. SN31 is asking, strange position for the chopsticks. Could there be any reason for this position? Yeah, a little bit weird. They're kind of off to the side. They're not like hugging the booster or what have you. So, I don't know. Ryan, any thoughts?
Just to get them out of the way. You know, in the unlikely event that there is a unexpected ignition event, just to make sure they're out of the way. They'd rather not damage those.
Yeah, speaking of, what was it? Yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of the Booster 7 Spin Prime detonation. Remember that?
Yeah, that was
R.I.P. White Hose. Never forget.
Was that normal? Was that supposed to happen? No, that wasn't. the question's on. Was that nominal? No.
I remember when someone literally took the video, the actual clip off our channel, and didn't actually cut out our watermark as well, and goes, Elon, is that normal? Elon goes, yeah. And then Elon saw my full tweet of it, the actual clip of it, and he goes, that's not normal.
Right. Deal. Let's do some more questions. Jonathan is asking, are you in Boca till the flight now, Jack? If so, how will you and D drive from Florida? Good question. Yes, I'm in Boca. I don't know. D and I will have to figure that out. Let's see. Sarah is asking, do we think catch will be successful on Flight 5? All right, for the purposes of this question, we're going to assume that they do, in fact, go for a catch on Flight 5. Do we think it would be successful? Chris, I'll throw it to you first.
I'm going to say yes, and that makes me sound like a SpaceX fanboy. And I'm a bit of a fanboy, I don't care. But I'm going to say yes from the perspective that they wouldn't go for it if they thought it was going to fail. I think they'll have enough confidence to go for it if they feel they can do it. So that makes me feel like they're going to do it. It's very SpaceX-like to push the boundaries, to push this for Flight 5, because I would have thought they'd go for a second water landing, a second soft water landing, rather than the first one which went 1,000 miles an hour into the actual ocean. I'd hope for a repeat, but I think they're so confident now with Flight 4's soft landing on the water that they feel everything's there. They might as well go for it. Let's not be too cautious here. Let's go for it. And that makes me feel confident they will. They've also got the caveat of diverting if they find something isn't particularly right when they're bringing it back to return to launch site, where they can divert into the ocean anyway. So that's a little safety margin there. How it'll all come about is amazing, because we've seen the CGI videos, and we know that CGI videos are not technically representative of what it'll actually be like in real life. I personally can't wait, and if they do it, it's going to be spectacular. We're going to have to make sure we've got lots of remotes getting photographs of this, because it's going to be absolutely bonkers.
Bonkies, even.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think?
Will it be successful? Man, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of like maybe a percentage.
It probably depends on how you define successful. Like, do they not completely nuke the pad if it misses, but they still get a whole bunch of good data? I would call that successful. Obviously, the standard definition of success would be they successfully catch it. That, oh man, I have a hard time believing they'll do it on the first try. And at the same time I say that, I know that it's SpaceX, and they've done a lot of things faster than we perhaps expected. So it's completely plausible that they could catch it on Flight 5. I don't know that I will bet on that, but I think it's not outside of the realm of possibility.
Before I give my answer, we've got frost in the LOX tank.
Excellent.
So, which took a little bit longer than normal, but we'll keep an eye on things here. Will they do it? I think software wise they can get down, they can get the landing burn in. Can they be accurate enough? According to Elon, supposedly they were dead on with Booster 11.
I mean,
Supposedly.
they had to be, right? Because the
Yeah.
booster was caught by the buoy cam, and the buoy cam is not a mobile thing. So for that footage to exist, they had to have a accurate landing, right?
Yeah, so assuming they were nearly dead on, they might be able to pull it off. I'll give them I give it a 50-50. We'll go with 50-50. I mean, that's kind of how confident I feel in it. I mean, yeah, we'll just go with 50-50. Will they do it?
Cool. All right, well, we have frost on the LOX tank, and we have discoloration or condensation on the methane tank, and we're not expecting a super huge prop load today, so let's keep our eyes on the prize, which is Booster 12, and see what happens next. I'm not necessarily expecting this thing to get fully frosty or anything like that for whatever this test ends up being, so who knows? We could be getting close. And speaking of getting close, before we do, I do want to thank some more people for their support. Plutonium239, thank you for the $10 super. They say, will they activate the FTS early if something goes wrong with a booster before catching attempt? I think that's fairly likely. Or like Chris is saying, they won't activate the FTS because it'll be deactivated on the way down, but they'll just divert into the ocean like we've seen them, with a Falcon 9, they target offshore until the landing burn is active, and then they'll sort of divert over to the landing pad, or they'll target the water next to the drone ship and then divert to the deck of the drone ship during that final landing burn. So perhaps it's just a matter of ditching it into the water versus blowing it up and potentially throwing shrapnel around. But that's a good question. Dan Schurtner, thank you for the super chat to say happy birthday, Starbase Live. Here's a $5 check. Thank you, Dan. Ralph Kilcup, becoming a Padrat member, thank you. Rankley, with a $5 super, saying, happy birthday, SBL. Couldn't have happened without the Bergenator, the Baconator, and Weber at the helm, and countless others. Y'all are the absolute best. Am I the Baconator? Neat.
Well, you deserve it for calling me the Bergenator,
right.
so there you go.
Hey, I'll take it. Hal9000, gifting 5 Red Team memberships. You're awesome. Thank you, Hal. Booster1058, thank you for the support there. They say, happy 3 years to you, happy 3 years to you, happy 3 years to your NSF, happy 3 years to you. I think I was supposed to sing that, but that's the best you're going to get. Thank you for the support. Paul Typo Dawson. Paul, is your middle name actually Typo? They say, in your opinion, what do you think the most difficult aspect of a booster catch is? Thanks for all you guys do. Ooh, most difficult aspect of a booster catch. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a rocket scientist. But my immediate reaction would be getting the actual chopsticks and booster to interface while the booster is midair. That seems like a pretty big deal to me. Maybe it's a Raptor relight thing. Maybe it's a guidance, navigation, and control accuracy thing. I don't know. I'm not a SpaceX employee, but those would be the things I immediately think about when this question is asked. Chris, do you have any thoughts?
The stability of the booster and holding its position while the sticks grab it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Ryan?
The sticks are gonna literally hit the booster, and the booster will slide down along the chopsticks. Is what it's looking like at this point. I think it's gonna be GNC, guidance, navigation, control software. We have what SpaceX is doing right now is kind of odd. Okay, so they have a small frost line on the LOX tank with some discoloration on the methane tank. And they've already started engine chill.
So this is a different flow. I mean,
this is completely different.
The OLM vent started up about 30 minutes prior to what we would have previously expected based on tank farm activity, right, Ryan? So seems like a completely different flow than what we're used to.
Yeah, this is something different.
Neat.
I don't know if they're performing a different test or if this is a change up of what they've been doing in the past. I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. SpaceX has been throwing us.
Is that engine chill? You see the condensation coming from underside?
That's engine chill. That's the engine chill line. So if speaking of Booster 7, and that spin prime accident, that line was added after that accident. So the reason why is because SpaceX would do engine chill, and they would just dump all of the leftovers from the engine chill out and dump it below the OLM. Well, they thought, oh, maybe the wind will be enough to blow away any of the excess methane. So what they do now is some of the excess methane will come out of the engine. Maybe a little bit of oxygen, like not much. You'll see some little puffs of clouds here and there. But most of that engine chill is now piped away from the OLM. So each engine has a line that goes to a manifold, and that manifold, as you can see, that ring around the OLM, then goes down and goes off to the LOX pool runoff that's over on the left there. You see the clouds on the left. That's where it all gets piped off to. So it's basically to make sure that there's no buildup of LOX and methane and there's no more explosion. So
Yeah.
that's what their solve was.
Well, frost on the liquid oxygen tank is continuing to rise. That's a good sign. Everything progressing here, and hopefully we see a test shortly. We're also getting some more L2 Lifetime members, so thank you if you signed up for L2 Lifetime. Chris, how many have we gotten? Like 4 or 5? Holy cow.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I mean, again, I like this because when you see the support we get so much support. We get people literally throwing super chats and what have you. This actually is the best way because one, you go into the store, everything comes to us, so it's not like any cuts with YouTube or anything like that, and you get a lot in return as well. So honestly, L2, not just Lifetime, L2 in general, is a brilliant way of supporting NSF and getting a lot back in return. So that's why I always said, people, if you're going to really support us, you always do. It's crazy. We never have to ask for it. You just do it, and it's incredible. But I also like it when you go through the store because that means you get something in return for your support. And there's obviously a lot. The economics of it is a lot better for NSF as well. So very much appreciate it. The one thing I will quickly say is I get the notification, and I'm the person who upgrades you. I'm currently commentating, so I can't multitask to save my life because I'm old and stupid. So I would say just give us until the end of my commentary, which is coming up in the not too distant future, in like 10-15 minutes time. And then I will get right on it. So if you are one of the L2 lifers who've just joined, bear with me. I will be personally upgrading you within like 15 minutes or so.
Good deal. And also, I do want to thank RC Horseman. Thank you, RC Horseman. Holy cow. Oh, look, the OLM vent just started back up. So that would be a complete prop load, right, Ryan?
Yeah, that would mean LOX load, however much LOX they want to put in would be done. And we can see a small ring on the methane tank. So
Interesting.
It's kind of interesting. Got really small load. I mean, they don't need a lot for spin prime if that's what they are doing, is the thing. I guess we gotta wait and see here. I'm trying to remember in the past. Well, actually, I'm trying to remember if when they did the spin prime on Booster 9, they loaded CO2. Now I need to go back and look.
Look at the spreadsheets, but in the meantime, RC Horseman with a $200 tip to tips.nasaspaceflight.com. RC Horseman, it was great meeting you before Flight 4, or was it after? I don't even know anymore. It all blurs together. But either way, RC Horseman, thanks so much for being such a good supporter of this channel. It's absolutely wild seeing your name, seeing other people's names pop up all the time with this insane support. So thank you so much. And once again, thank you to everybody who got L2 Lifetime. RC Horseman says, I'm finally home after my 8,900 miles of driving to see Boca, Flight 4, Houston, and Cape Canaveral with a couple of launches. I met a lot of the NSF crew. Keep up the great work, and thanks. Thank you, RC Horseman. I'm glad we got to briefly say hey to each other amidst the chaos around Flight 4. And seriously, once again, thank you. That's such an incredible amount of support. And the things that we do here at NSF, the breadth and depth of our coverage would not be possible without support from people like you. And you know what? It has to be said. It doesn't have to be a monetary thing. Even if you're just hitting the like button and watching the channel, we appreciate you. It really means the world to us because, like I said, we can't do this stuff without you guys. And everybody, by watching the channel, telling your friends about it, doesn't have to be a monetary thing. Everyone's doing their part.
I do believe RC Horseman is already an L2 Lifetime member, by the way. So that's just bonkers. And by the way, RC, if I'm wrong on that, let me know. Send me a message. I know you're in the Discord, so send me a message and I'll make sure you are. put it that way, because you deserve it for doing that tip. I mean, that literally is an L2 lifetime. So if you're not, let me know. But I think you already are. Just shows how much support you give us over the weeks and months. It's crazy.
Indeed. Bob Fillmore, thank you for the support. They say congrats on the 3rd anniversary NSF of SBL. D.A. Swanson, thanks for gifting a Red Team membership. Booster 1058, thank you again for the super chat. They said I meant good birthday, SBL in the jingle. I know brain. No worries. I know brain. Oh, look at that. There's some venting from the
That's
engine?
the DSS. And wait for it. And there's a spin prime.
Heck yeah.
And just before I was about to say, yeah, this is about the exact same LOX load as they had on Booster 9 when they did the spin prime way back in, what? That was June 21st of last year. So over a year ago. And then it's a little bit more methane load than they had in the past. So, yeah.
Well, there you have it. That looked like a spin prime of Booster 12's 33 Raptor engines. And unlike 2 years ago with Booster 7, no unexpected ignition, which is a good thing.
And there's depress.
Look at that. Almost seems like clockwork. Fantastic. Well, we'll work on getting some replays from our different camera angles of that spin prime test. At least that's what it looked like. And in the meantime, I will thank some more of you while we get those replays going so we can sort of look closely at what exactly just happened there. Sue Origin, thanks for the Red Team membership. Oh, 2 of them. Gifting 2 of them. Or 3 of them. Wow. Thanks, Sue Origin. Pebmets, thank you for the support. They say, I wonder if NASA is going to have input into the F9 investigation since the Crew 9 launch will be impacted and NASA astronauts are involved. Wouldn't be surprised if NASA is very interested in whatever SpaceX is learning about last night's Falcon 9 anomaly. Sue Origin gifting another Red Team membership. William Weaver gifting 10. Holy cow, William. Thank you. Sue Origin again gifting 5. Matthew Dahl, thank you for the support. They say, neat. Jack Star Guy Buyer. Happy birthday, SBL. Thank you for everything you guys do. Thanks, Matt. And Revel H becoming a Capcom member. Revel, pop into Discord and say hey. Well, that certainly looked like a nice spin prime. Hopefully we'll get a tweet from Elon or SpaceX giving us some more information as to what we just saw. But in the meantime, we can analyze what we just saw with the help of some handy dandy replays. So stay tuned for those. Right off the bat, though, Mike.
Jack.
Whoa, it's Das. Hey, Das.
Hey, do you have a second?
Sure.
Oh, what time's the launch today?
Oh my God! Why did I let you do it? Why did I let you do it? It's a joke. It's a joke because so many people, when you're out at Starbase, will pull up to you and ask. They'll see you with a camera and go, "Oh, hey, is it launching today?" I'm always just like, "Buddy, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but if it was launching today, I assure you, you would not be here right now." Hey, Das.
I mean, I would be there if it was launching today. I would be at Boca. So
also
I'm
true.
not at Boca right now.
Well, welcome, Das.
Hey, how's it going? Do I sound okay? Chat, do I sound okay? It's been a while since I've been able to hop in, and I was patiently waiting for the spin prime, and I thought I'd just hop in and say hi for a little bit.
Hi, yeah, you sound great to me. I don't know. We'll see what chat says. Damien says 5x5. AZ Space Geek says 5x5. Booster 13.
Nice.
A bunch of people saying 5x5. Welcome, Das.
Well, cool. I'm sitting on the couch. It's quite a comfortable place to watch a spin prime from. Jack, don't let me slow you down though. Like you were in the middle of a roll there.
I don't even remember what I was doing. Yeah.
We were
hi.
analyzing what we saw.
Oh, well, we're going to get some replays coming up. Specifically, I think the first one we're going to focus on is this particular angle. So, yeah, stand by. We have replays in work, and we'll be able to sort of piece out what exactly we saw from all the different angles and whatnot. But by all accounts, looked like a nice nominal spin prime with a bit of a different flow beforehand. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, it looked a little bit different. Going back and looking at Booster 9, it's a little bit different than that. Like this time, we got more methane load than last time. LOX load is about the same, and engine chill was slightly different, but then again, the tank farm is way different to this time around than it was during Booster 9, so there are obviously going to be changes.
Indeed. A whole bunch of questions, a bunch more questions about Falcon 9. I think maybe stay tuned for the Flame Trench later today, and I assure you we will talk about Falcon 9 more in depth there. Laura Rexford has asked, I don't know how many times, are there plans for a Starship Tower 3 at Starbase? Not that we have seen.
I don't know where they would put it.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of room down there. It's basically a sandbar that SpaceX has reclaimed for a launch site and production site, and space is at a premium. The land that there is basically all wildlife preserve at this point.
Yeah. They do own more land to the south. However, it's all wetlands, which would require permission and environmental stuff, everything from the Army Corps of Engineers. There's a lot of paperwork and stuff involved in that, and I don't know if it's worth it to put a third tower at Boca. It'd be more worth it to put another tower somewhere at the Cape rather than at Boca. At least that's just me.
Yeah.
Because once they overhaul this pad and get Pad B fully built, I mean, the two pads out of here, and once they actually build a full tank farm for Pad B, they'll be able to launch pretty quickly out of here. But it's not an ideal location.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see
get a pretty
two
good
Starships on the pad.
cadence. You think they could get a pretty good cadence with the two pads that they have once they get going? Like, y'all saw that news about the assessing whether they could do 25 launches and booster landings and ship landings a year, right? Mm. And with two pads, it seems like they could support that pretty easily, which would be fantastic. 2 launches a month. Anybody okay with that?
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, that 25. I mean, it's funny because they've sort of over time increased what they've been asking for. You know, oh, we'll do 5 a year. Oh, we'll do 6 to 8 a year. Oh, well, can we do 25 a year? It's like, what's the limit? But 25, you know, what is that? 2 a month from 1 from each pad a month, and then 12 months, so you get 24, and then add a little piece of Starship change on, a bonus on the end.
Treat.
Yeah. It's pretty good. But Das, we have you and we have Chris, and it's the 3-year anniversary of SBL.
It is.
And I just kind of want to hear you talk about everything, all the blood, sweat, and tears you've had to throw into, because SBL would not exist without you. I mean, plain and simple.
Gosh.
So
we should have. I've been on the road for 5 or 6 weeks. I'd have to ask my wife. She'd tell me exactly how long I've been on the road. But we should have prepared like a little look back sort of thing. Maybe we still have time to do that later today. For the Flame Trench might be an idea. I'll see if I can get some pictures of like the old original cameras we put out in sites we built originally, and the way we the cameras that were on the roof in the village, like the two wacky tripods on the roof in the village with an extension cord going down.
I remember installing those with Andy.
You put those up there.
Yeah, and feeling like, oh, this roof is very squishy, and Andy's just like drilling into his roof like, I don't care.
It's like, is this a roof or a trampoline that we're on right now? But no, I really should go back through. We have so many historical photos of the original builds and the original ways we sort of got things doing. And the sites today, like if you were to compare the site today with the sites that we originally put out there for the original coverage, good grief.
It's night and day. It's night and day. I mean, I think the original solar panels were ones you had me pick up from Harbor Freight.
Yes.
and haul out there.
Like, where can we get solar panels locally that'll power us, maybe power a camera for, could it last like 2 days? I don't know. Maybe the camera will last 2 days. So
I was saying earlier, I wish we had stats, like when you beat a video game and you get like the stats screen. I wish we had like 742 battery swaps, like 4 Amcrest cam. It's probably more like 24 Amcrest camera, whatever it is, Axis cam. I don't know. There's lots of cameras.
Yeah, it's fine. How many are killed by salt and corrosion? Like,
yeah, right.
This number of bolts completely rusted through. We have some telemetry about the power usage. Like I could pull up things like the kilowatts or megawatts of power that we've consumed and that sort of stuff, or kilowatt hours really.
Yeah.
But anyways, like there are things like that I could pull up.
I would be super interested in that, especially because all of our sites are running on solar. Well, I guess except for hotel, but like hotel's kind of a baby compared to all the other ones in some ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we're running on the sun, like sweet photons. And when there's not photons, the people here in Starbase have to haul batteries places. But you know what? It's a labor of love because Starbase Live frickin' rules, and it's 3 years old today.
It is 3 years old. It needs like a party hat on or something.
Can we
the
put a
logo
party
of the party hat?
Yeah, I was going to say, can we put a party hat on the logo on SBL? That would be amazing. We have put little things in the ticker in the past.
Yeah, maybe we'll do something like that.
Yeah, maybe even just like an emoji party hat in the ticker would be cool. But yeah, we're working on the replays. We're gonna take a look at the suspected spin prime that we saw at about 11:37 local. Chris, how did that look to you?
It looked very nominal. It was actually quite fast. Don't you think it was quite fast? I got through that actual testing cycle. I felt it. I wasn't expecting the spin prime to happen that soon. That was maybe just me. I don't know. So it seemed like a lot faster. Good. It wasn't just me. Good.
Yeah, that was. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, the OLM vent sort of started up before we expected it to, based on tank farm activity. That we sort of get a feel for how these things go, and by get a feel, I mean Ryan and Alex pour over the data to a level that I cannot even understand. But yeah, we had an early OLM vent. We had what seemed like a very rapid prop load and a good spin prime. So yay, Booster 12. Hopefully, we get to see a static fire with it in the coming days. There's a lot of closures this week, but my immediate question to all of us here on the stream is, do we think that they would just go into a static fire today? I know we don't have an overpressure notice to our knowledge, so my gut would be no, but they have so much time for activities. I don't know, Das, what do you think?
Well, that's exactly the question I was going to ask, and I saw it scrolling through chat as well. Like, are they going to be able to go straight into it? But we haven't seen an overpressure notice is one thing, and usually they do that if they're going to do a static fire. I think that it would be unlikely without that, but it wouldn't be the first time that they either had a super late notice that maybe we haven't seen yet, or they didn't do a notice. I don't know. What is it? It's Friday right now. They just got through this. I know they're completely separate teams. SpaceX may have other things to work on as well, right? After the launch last night. So would they try to go directly into a static fire? I think it's a possibility, right?
Right.
I'm not even saying no kidding, and people are like putting no kidding in chat. Oh my gosh, Jack! I was walking around, doing something like not related, and I said neat, and somebody said, "Whoa, are you the Tick?" And I was like, "The Tick?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's the Tick's catchphase." Neat.
Is that where you got it from?
That must be where it's from.
Wow. Okay.
Jack can back me up.
That's an epiphany. The only Tick catchphrase I remember is spoon.
Spoon, yeah, the spoon one.
Oh man, I love that show. I loved the Tick growing up.
I never made that connection, and then I was like, "I'll be danged, you're right. That is what the Tick says." And we're over here always saying neat.
Well, neat. Speaking of ticks, I have gotten some ticks from you. I don't say good grief, but I think I did get neat from you. So yeah, that's a fun thing that happens. I mean, you're good at this, so it's good. You know, you emulate the pros, and so
rub off on people, I guess. Yeah, I thought you were going to say you got some ticks while you were out at Starbase deploying cameras. Like
yes, also yes, but you know, long pants with the stretchy things that go over the boots, and it's a. Don't get me started.
Arachnid ticks? Are ticks arachnids or insects? Now I have to go Google that.
Oh, God, I'm not Googling it. Oh, we have replays. All right, let's take a look at the replay. And we'll go around the horn and give our thoughts. Let's see. We did see a little bit of ice coming from the engine chill line. There's the detonation suppression system.
The DSS, right? I heard y'all say DSS, and that's the detonation suppression system.
Yeah, I've also heard it called the FireX. I don't know.
But it's not FireX.
It does
previously known as the FireX, but maybe not actually correctly known as the FireX, right?
Right.
And
there you go.
Center 13 and then the outer 20.
Yeah, very delineated columns of condensation or vapor there. It looked nice and clean. I don't know,
you
Chris,
get sort of two whooshes, right?
Yeah.
Like there's the center whoosh, and then the whoosh gets bigger as the outer ring of engines. Did I hear that correctly, Ryan?
Yeah, it's the center 13s and the outer 20s.
Gotcha.
Outer 20. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
there
come
you
to me
go.
on Bandicaming.
Okay, okay. You read my mind, Chris. I wanted to know what Chris thought, but no, we'll let you be a Bandicam wizard. I want to know what Chat thinks. Chat, what do you think? I mean, this looks nominal to me. It looks like
Looks
a
fine.
pretty good test. Das, what do you think?
I mean, it looks good. Like y'all said, they went into it really quickly. We were even a little surprised at how quickly they went from loading a little bit of prop, and then we saw the venting start, and it went right into it. It wasn't like, oh, it stopped, and then we're gonna wait, and then it waited, then it depressed, or then it held. Like they just went right into it. So the spin prime, when done correctly, is a well, everything's risky, but the spin prime potentially a lower risk test than say like a static fire or something
Right.
like that.
Right,
A
it's like
full
spin
cryo.
prime is like the
Yeah.
base level. Well, I guess a proof would be the base level. Then level
Right.
2 would be a cryo. Then level 3 would be a spin prime. Then level 4 would be a pre-burner. Then level 5, then you've got to the static fire.
Would be like a stat. And I don't even
Launch.
know would I rank a spin prime more or less risky than a full cryo test or a wet dress rehearsal. Maybe those are two different things, but which is more risky? They both have some risk that clearly SpaceX knows how to manage, but
Right.
tanks being completely full of propellant and vehicle at sort of fullish launch mass.
Yeah, that would
or
be
not, but things flowing, right?
wet dress rehearsal would be level 6 in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the reason I put spin prime above a cryo is remember 2 years ago yesterday when Booster 7 had there was an observation. Remember when we had the observation? with Booster-
Yeah.
Like,
So like, go ahead, Ryan.
top of the list is test launch, right? That's top.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Actually, is
No?
the top of the list the test launch, or will the new top of the list be the catch attempt?
Oh.
Ooh.
I was even going to say maybe more risky than launch in some ways is the first wet dress, at least the first wet dress they ever did. You know, it's the first time both vehicles are fully full of propellant and there are unknowns. Whereas when you're launching, even for the first time, you've sort of already quantified putting that propellant on the vehicle. You know it's not going to go pop or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, firsts are always tricky.
Yep.
We got some more camera angles playing on the old replayator? Replayer?
What?
Replay monitor.
There you go. Replay monitor.
Replay
Thank
monitor. That's not a very cool name, but you need like the ref to run over to the sidelines and stick their head in a hood sort of deal, you know?
you. That'd be amazing. Like takes a flag out of his pocket and like throws it onto the salt flats there.
Throws a flag onto the oleum.
Oh, good deal. I like this angle because you can see the second tower module, which was lifted onto the base yesterday, and the ever-changing skyline at Starbase changing once again.
Yeah.
I
Oh my
believe
god,
this
it's
is-
gonna look so cool with the new towers.
Oh my god, Das. I was out photographing yesterday. I know replay.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be talking about replay.
That
I was out
replays
shooting.
look cool.
I was out shooting yesterday, and a couple of the old sight lines, like Starhopper
Yeah.
POVs that you could get, that you could not get because of the vertical tank farm, are back, and they look amazing.
Ah.
But in addition to that, there are completely new sight lines that are going to be amazing once the second tower and pad are built. And on top of that, there are some old standard sight lines that, you know, it's like spots that'll always go because I know, oh, the sun's going to rise here or it's going to set there and it looks good because there's no
Yeah.
clutter around, blah, blah, blah. Some of the old standby spots are going to be insane once we get a second tower. So color me
Yeah.
excited. I'm extremely excited.
You know,
Yeah.
Jack, like the two towers, the one tower is awesome, right? The one tower with the full stack on it's even awesomer. But when you have two towers and the way they're sort of spaced, you can see it when we go to the wide shot, right? It gives you the potential to be sort of on one end of the line, right? Like tower further away, tower closer, and then you. And you have a big tower sort of like in your face. But
Right.
wait, there's more. There's another smaller tower like in the distance, and it really looks more like a complex or big facility. Like, what? There's multiple launch towers here. Like, what the heck? Versus, oh yeah, there's this one big tower. Like, just the framing context where there's another tower in the distance. You see that at the Cape a lot of the times. You're like, man, that place really looks like a spaceport. And having two towers down there at Starbase, it's like, geez, that's really starting to look like a spaceport.
Yeah, no kidding. And it'll be another way that we can sort of get a sense of scale. Like when you're right up close, like right on the property line or right across Highway 4 from the launch site, it can be hard to fully wrap your head around how big these things are until you see like a tiny little person walking around on the OLM or what have you. And now not only that, we'll have, a tower 1,000 foot away for comparison. This is going to be cool. I'm excited. All right, I think I've belabored the point enough.
This is our first booster engine test without the vertical tanks there. It looks weird now, without those there. Those were there for so long. It looks bare, but it also looks cool. And like the shots from our south side are going to be really cool when you have 2 towers and 2 stacks on, because you'll have pad A, which you'll be looking straight on the side of the stack, right on the flap line. And then on pad B, you're going to be looking at the back side on the tile side of the ship.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it's going to look. It's going to look weird when you have 2 stacks at once.
It's going to be crazy when they get 2 stacks out there. Like, I wonder if they get this. Well, it's a long time to get the tower stackable, right? Especially if you're counting the chopsticks and everything fully ready to go. Anybody seeing a second OLM yet? Like,
nope, not even parts. But who knows? They do have the shipping and receiving area now that is sort of tucked away. So in theory, they could be building an OLM at Starbase and we wouldn't even know. But I would be fairly surprised.
They could be building it at Hangar M and then transport it and kit it out here.
Possible, very possible.
Not out of the realm, I just don't know. Something will just show up eventually and it'll be like, oh, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, to your point, Ryan, it's going to be great. The second pad, it'll be like, I think it's called a maquette. I am not an illustrator or a painter or an animator, but it's like when you see like the character design sheets for a cartoon and you see like they draw the front on and the side on, and when they look up and when they look down, like we're getting a small bit of that here. We'll have a starship that's flaps on from this angle and a starship that's edge on from this angle, and it's going to be cool. Yeah. Speaking of cool, I'm going to thank some more people for their support. The Goated One, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Flawed Perspective, what's up, buddy? They say, what is the current recycle time between spin prime and static fire? And happy birthday, SBL. Ryan, this is a you question if I've ever read one.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure they've done one in the past. It's been a minute. I have to go back and look to see which one they did, but it would depend on whether or not they just wanted to finish the prop load or if they wanted to detank and redo it. If they did it either way, they would probably detank and redo it in order to make sure the prop was at the correct temperature.
Right.
So detank redo, that would probably be two hours maybe to do that, because they can prop load pretty quickly. However, the likelihood is very, very slim to none that they will static fire today. They still have the scaffolding up on the OLM, and there's still equipment that is relatively close by to this pad. We have seen in the past when they do a 33 engine static fire, it has been powerful enough to knock a shipping container like 100 to 200 feet.
Like rolled it.
Yeah, rolled it, and that shipping container was like a solid 150, 200 meters away from the pad.
Yeah.
If they were to static fire all 33 engines, the JLGs that are nearby and whatnot would get thrown, and the scaffolding on top of the OLM might get blasted and then sucked down.
Sucked into it, yeah.
Yeah, it might get sucked into it and damage the engines. So they are absolutely not going to static fire with this setup.
That's a good observation. Like the fact that the scaffolding's still there. I mean, you say absolutely not. Well, we've seen SpaceX do all sorts of stuff.
Right.
If they did a static fire, there would be consequences. Maybe that's the right way to say it.
Yeah, no, that's a very dad of you, Das. Very dad of you.
Make good choices, SpaceX.
We wouldn't be mad. We'd just be disappointed. The Goated One gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Thanks, buddy.
United Rentals would be disappointed.
Maybe not. United Rentals gets their money one way or the other. The Goated One with another 5 Red Team memberships. Thank you. You are indeed the Goated One. I don't know. I think the kids would say with the sauce. I have no idea. William Weaver.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for gifting 50 Red Team memberships. That's wild. Thank you so much, William. Yo, in chat, if you got a gifted membership from anybody, especially William or the Goated One, be sure you thank them. That's such a nice thing for them to do. Is we always say it doesn't have to be a monetary thing for your support here. Just turning up and hitting the like button, telling your friends about us, and watching the streams and hanging out with us. That's awesome. And in fact, it doesn't have to be a monetary thing. If you hang out and chat, you might just get a gifted membership from someone as awesome as William Weaver. So thank you, William. And everybody that now has the membership, make sure you check out all the cool perks that you now have access to.
People that don't know, Jack, real quick, like the membership program has all the behind the scenes, like it gives you access to extra stuff. But the names in chat that have colors and icons next to them, like that's part of the membership program. So if you get a gifted membership, you'll get the little icon next to your name will change color. And then the longer you're a member, like if you renew it after you get the gift, you get the different little icons that show up. Like I see Jack has a Mars there, and then Robert Van Cleese has an Earth.
I literally just typed in chat so I could see what icon I have.
Yep,
I have
there
the Mars.
you go.
I think the highest level one is a terraformed Mars.
It is like a terraformed Mars. That's what I'm like. Is that an Earth or is that a terraformed Mars? Mine is blue and has clouds and some land masses, so I'm not even sure what my color is there. Good grief. Somebody was asking what SBOL was, so I had typed the link into chat, and I hadn't sent it yet until I explained what SBOL was. But for the person that asked what SBL was, it's Starbase Live. We do these streams where we like explain what's going on, and we chat and we hang out and we answer questions and that sort of stuff. But when we say, it's the anniversary of SBL, it's the 3rd anniversary. So for 3 years, we have had a non-stop 24/7 stream. It's up to like 20 or something cameras now, all over Starbase, all different angles, showing what's going on, and that's what SBL is. When we say SBL, we're talking about Starbase Live.
That's 26,280 hours.
Oh my gosh,
live.
That's a lot of hours.
Put it into a song or something.
26,800,
26,800, whatever the heck.
hours of data on the network.
Starbase. Anyways, we're showing SBL. That's what it is. The nested lower third there.
Yeah, if you watch our streams but you don't watch SBL, I don't know. Maybe you just didn't know about it, but in any building that I am in at any given time, there is at least one large screen showing SBL, just so I can know what's going on at any given time. So yeah,
SpaceX too. Like if you watch Tim's walkthrough of the factory and stuff, go and look for our red banner, because on the SpaceX screens that the workers have, like all over the inside of the Star Factory and that sort of stuff, you'll see our red banner up because the SpaceX employees actually put SBL up on the screen so they can see what's going on. If you're watching right now, SpaceX people, don't out yourselves, but we appreciate you.
Some people asked me for some stickers the other day, and I'm out. I need more. I need to raid your room here and find more stickers because
if you find somebody or if you find some, they're fair game. But we need to get more made, and I need to make them the right 2x3 dimensions. Our other stickers weren't flat.
I have disappointed a non-zero number of people and just like viewers that I've seen out in the last week or two, just because I have not had any. So I really need to find this sticker. And if you're listening to this and you asked me for a sticker and I did not have one for you, I'm sorry. Find me again.
Blame Jack.
Blame me. Ben Crease Vision, they say more cameras, more better. Thank you for the super chat. Sparky, thank you so much, Sparky, for the $5 tip. They say, love you all. Do you need an electrician to join your crew?
Where are you?
Yeah, that's a big email business at NASASpaceflight.com as Booster starts to yell at us.
Is that the booster venting or?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin, thanks for grabbing a t-shirt from the store. They say thanks for the membership gift, paying it forward. Thank you so much. Also, really good movie if you haven't seen Pay It Forward. It's got the Sixth Sense kid in it. What is it? What is his name? Haley.
Oh, yeah.
Haley Joel.
I don't know.
Something. Yeah. Rankley.
The guy owns a church or something, but that's a different person.
Rankley, thank you for the super chat. They say number 1 risk, landing on Mars. Yeah, not wrong. Tom V gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Thank you so much, Tom. And Graham Bartlett becoming a Pad Rat member. Y'all, so much support on today's stream. Thank you so much. Booster looks like it's depressing. Looks like we had a good spin prime. Obviously, if anything else happens down in Starbase testing-wise today, we will cover that. We also have a flame trench coming up later today where we talk about the news of the week in an informal manner. And we, I believe, just published This Week in Spaceflight. So be sure, after we wrap this up here in a minute, you go check out this week's episode of This Week in Spaceflight, where we did and do
yes.
talk about the crazy anomaly last night with Falcon 9 second stage, plus all of the other stuff over the week. Alicia and the entire team did a great job on This Week in Spaceflight. So I want to see everybody going from this stream, watching that, and then let's go hang out in Starbase Live.
Alicia was up late too, by the way. Like the breaking news with the Falcon 9, Alex sort of getting the facts together and Alicia recording that because we had that breaking news about the anomaly on the second stage of Falcon 9 last night, and that was a big enough deal that we felt it really important to get into This Week in Spaceflight. So they were definitely burning the midnight oil to make sure that the update included some facts about that. So if you're interested, we're going to talk about that later. Like we'll do the live reaction show with Flame Trench, right, Jack?
Yep.
But we also have some coverage of that in This Week of Spaceflight. So if you don't quite know what happened with the Falcon 9 second stage last night and why SpaceX is actually not allowed to launch any more Falcon 9s until they figure out and document exactly what went on with that second stage. That is in This Week in Spaceflight, the video that we've literally just put out with Alicia, and I'm wondering what earrings she wore.
It's always
Pinned in chat, by the way.
Thank you. It's pinned in
Chris.
chat. There we go.
I'm gonna spam it in chat. I'm gonna have no decorum. I'm just gonna shamelessly spam it because it's great. And so yeah, like you said, Das, if you want to sort of get a catch up on what exactly happened, you have no idea, watch Twists, and then you can hear us ramble about it later today on the Flame Trench.
I wonder if she found some icicle earrings to wear doing the pickup where we cover the Falcon 9 second stage anomaly. She changes into icicle earrings.
I wouldn't put it past her. Her fashion sense, especially with the earrings, is truly remarkable. But yeah, I think that will do it for this stream. Chris, thanks for being on, good buddy.
I didn't do much. I was busy in the background.
You did so much. You did Bandicam. You provided your perspective and wisdom and insight. You had a British accent that makes people feel at ease and like you know what you're talking about.
Is that true? I mean, I hear myself, I hear a Yorkshire accent, I feel like Game of Thrones gruff. I'm from the north. Yeah, but thank you, Jack. It's very, very nice of you to say.
Indeed. Thanks for being on, Chris. Das, also thanks for jumping in. Always good to hear your voice.
Oh, I wasn't on for very long, but I had an opportunity here to hop in and chat with some folks. It's always, I need to do this more because I have a ton of fun hopping over here and spreading my opinions around to whoever's watching.
Indeed. Ryan, also thanks for being on and sharing your insight.
It's always fun, Jack. It's been a lot of fun last couple of days with tower stacking, the testing on Booster 12, and everything else that's been going on in Starbase. So yeah, fun as always.
And of course, we had Jay in the background operating the stream. I think Gage and Kevin were around as well. Thank you to, it takes a team. It takes a whole team to do this stuff. It's not just my annoying voice or anybody's voice on stream. It's an entire group of people that makes this stuff work. In fact, there's also a group of people that handle the socials. So if you want to have an additional way to keep up with what's going on when we're going live for a stream, when there's some breaking news like last night with the Stage 2 issue, check out the socials. We've got Chris Bergen on Twitter. He's at NASASpaceflight. We've got NASASpaceflight IG on Instagram. We're on Facebook and Threads and everywhere you want to be. So be sure to check out the socials because they're a treat. I'm Jack.
The socials team does a lot of work. Like they put a lot of time lapses and stuff we can't show you other places.
Right.
So there'll be like a stacking operation or just Chopsticks doing something or a quick disconnect test that happened on Starbase Live. And they take those clips and they put them all over the socials. So if you're interested in little bite-sized pieces of what's going on, you should follow in all those places because then next time you come back, you'll know what we're talking about. A little bit better, at least.
Yeah, it's selfishly or whatever. Like I'll post random little blurbs of my day-to-day on my Instagram story, just because it's like an easy thing to do, and maybe the sunset's really nice or what have you. And I'll post like the nice finished photo for members, and then I'll sometimes go on Twitter. But the little random day-to-day moments are fun, and I'll tag the NASA Spaceflight Instagram, and they'll repost them, and you can get a little bit of a BTS without having to be a member or anything like that. So there you go.
Yep.
Can I just do a quick programming note? There's a David Campbell, if you're still here. You joined L2 Lifetime, but you've not left an email address or a working profile. I can't contact you in any way or form. upgrade you, sir. If you're still
Oh,
listening,
no.
just send me an email or just anyway, chrisbergen@nasaspaceflight.com. Any contact form you see with NSF, it'll come to me. So just let me know. Thank you.
Now all I want to know is how do you make sure it's actually them?
I've got his address.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching today's test. Looked like a good spin prime on Booster 12. Stay tuned and watch twists, and we'll see you on the Flame Trench later on today.
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
RS-68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers, fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Flighting down to IFT off. Say again, ST off. It's orange! 145! Oh my god! Oh my god! Decollage! What is it? Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
The methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? We don't need any more of these.
So, you know how the testing is over for the day?
Yeah.
The road's open. There you go. Why are you still here?
Go home.
Go
home.
home.
Go.
Just go.
The movie's
Stream's
over. The movie's over.
The movie's over.
We're out of here.
Best outro ever. Road open. Hooray. Just in time for us to end the stream. All right.
They waited for us to end, and then they opened the road because we were done. Thanks, SpaceX.